What's up, guys? I'm AUSSIE METALHEAD. I'm doing 150 classic albums by the end of the year. I'm also doing Patreon requests and new releases. This wasn't a Patreon request, but it is a new release, and it's fucking Slayr, so I'm obviously going to do it. I have listened, I started out listening to Slayr with Half Blood, and it was basically the reason my entire channel blew up, so thank you so much for the Slayr fans. And I adored that album. And I also see the reaction video that I've done on that within that reaction posted like every like month or two on TikTok or Twitter, so I appreciate that by you guys. But yeah, I loved Half-Blood, Lux, I loved Gaia 2, I loved, there's another one, he's done another one. But yeah, I've loved everything he's done, and I'm doing Heaven Tunes soon, in the next like month or so. But yeah, I think after that I've done everything. But yeah, I'm looking forward to listening to everything he does. I think it's really cool that he has Pretty Fun on this, because I feel like Pretty Fun, weirdly, I think I saw a clip of KJ saying the same thing, and I feel like Pretty Fun kind of gets left out of conversations a lot of the time, despite the fact that I feel like he is one of the most polished in the underground, and then has like a distinctive style and sound, which is really weird to me that he gets overlooked so much. So I think it's really fucking cool that Slayr is working with him. I also really like, I think just like the group of the people in the underground that like Slayr is in and works with, like Easy Code Lee and Slayr and shit like that, they seem like the most principled sort of people. Like their authenticity comes out in their music a lot more, so I fuck with that. But yeah, I'm curious to see where he goes, because I feel like Slayr is the most talented at the moment. Like the way he's able to meld so many different genres with like a lot of care and precision with everything he does. It feels like he is a true artist and just cares so much about it. So, and I think it bleeds through in the music every single time. So I'm curious to see what it sounds like. Let's see how it goes.
Promise to keep the peace, you know I tried. Talking to you, it's like trying to keep an extroverted hide. Said I love you, and I even put some extra words beside it. Hit me. Promise that you couldn't keep.
He also has a very pretty voice.
Promise that you couldn't keep. L.I. is a promise that you couldn't keep. We the room, I'm switching countries, yes I'm popping now. I'll see you soon. I found a way to somehow watch my mouth and keep it cool. I found a way to never lose it. We in different schools. Don't matter, switch the model. Even I don't wanna be involved. I'm going full throttle. Geeking every time she hit me up. Yeah, this a new model. Y'all must think I'm rich. I'm probably not. Yeah, this my new model. Now she think I'm rich. I post my guap and got a new follow. Who is you? Never seen you here before. Who is you? No name and you can hit the door. Try that April for the sample. We should do some more.
I was like listening to that, like the first like 30-40 seconds, I was like, this is good, like, but it feels like middle of the road for Slayr's quality. And then I'm pretty sure you would be able to tell at some point, like 10 seconds, 20 seconds ago, I was like, I like this a lot. Like when it comes to what I assume to be like the bridge or whatever, like the writing there was just so nice and fucking sugary. It's a lot more low-key, this track. It's not like, it's like, I don't know how I feel about this track compared to the rest of his work, because it feels like understated compared to the other ones. Well, like the other ones have like very like eye-catching, like bombastic fucking choruses that really catch you instantaneously. This one feels very much like a low-key track, which is something I don't necessarily remember. When I'm thinking of Slayr, that's not what I'm thinking of. I'm thinking of like Love Blur, I'm thinking of Power, I'm thinking of, I'm missing some off of like Bloodlux and stuff like that, but like I'm thinking of like these real like hits, the same way that like I guess when you look at like an Uzi, when I think of Uzi, I think of Uzi's hits. I feel like Slayr is very much in that sort of ballpark. Sorry, I just sneezed. But yeah, Slayr, like when I'm thinking of Uzi, I'm thinking of some of the unreleased track, like Made to Pack It Up or something like that. And I'm thinking like Exo Tour Life, or I'm thinking The Way Life Goes, or 20 Min, that sort of thing. And this feels like very much more of an album track, which I also find is a bit interesting considering the fact this is an EP. I could be I don't know how this is working with Seven Heaven and stuff like that. Like, how is it meant to work with that? But the way it was kind of built to me by my Discord and everything was like, this is kind of like a teaser for the album that's about to come out, and I don't know fucking anything about creating EPs or albums or whatever, but I find it interesting that like this track is a bit of a teaser in itself because it feels like a bit more of an album track rather than like a statement single, which I guess like I feel maybe I'm just mistaken on that, but like that kind of feels like when you have an EP or 6 tracks, you put statement tracks out onto it. But this one could be a statement track in itself to be like, oh, look, Slayer is not just going to make these like really fucking pretty gorgeous hits, going to make also like low-key tracks that you can just chill to. And that still has like nice melodies and is a bit catchy in itself, because I still feel like this has like the Slayer DNA in it. But it's definitely like a more of a low-key track compared to like the massive bombastic hits that he usually does.
It's like trying to keep an extroverted high. Said I love you when I even put some extra words beside it. Me. Promise that you couldn't keep. Promise that you couldn't keep. Promise that you couldn't keep. I is a promise that you couldn't keep. Said I love you when I even put some extra words beside it. Me.
I do like his voice, and also the production is always going to be nice. He's married. Oh, I like how I know that it's transitioning now. But if you haven't watched one of my videos before, I do ranks on the side. I do these first listen ranks. I listen to this project multiple times over before I post them to my Discord, album of the year, all that jazz. But yeah, you know the deal. If you're a Slayr fan, you probably watch my stuff. You know all the preamble. But yeah, if you want to chat, you can go to Discord. Album of the year is where I have my reviews. Patreon, if you want to request some albums, $5 to start out to like $20 depending on the album that you want. But yeah, all that jazz. My average rating is a 6 out of 10. Spiritually, I think it's 5 out of 10. I'm saying it's 5.1. I think it's above average. With that being said, I would say like a 6.5 to me. Like I think it's a decent, good track, but I guess like I'm used to with Slayer stuff being wowed and amazed every single time, and this is just like a nice track. Like there's nothing wrong with it, but it doesn't wow me as much. But yeah, solid. I'm curious to see how pretty. It's been so long since I've had Pretty Fun. This one has like more of a piercing quality to it, because like I feel like the other stuff, like the other albums, are a bit more like sugary with it, but like they're like the higher. I don't know anything about music theory, but like the higher notes and stuff like that have a bit more of a piercing quality to them, but still have like a. I know they're not as piercing as, let's say, like when you have an S peaking on a microphone, but it definitely feels like they're playing with that sort of concept a bit on like the higher end, which I find to be a bit interesting. I don't know how I feel about it at the moment compared to like the usual sounds that I feel like I get from Slayer. I feel like this one might actually just be like a project that takes me like a few listens to fully like understand, like grapple with like my thoughts and everything on it. There's definitely, I can see how this is an EP because I don't know exactly what I can point to, but it doesn't feel like it has the same level of curation as like a Bloodlux or a Heartblood. So yeah, it doesn't feel like it has the same level of curation. It feels like I know, it feels like your typical SoundCloud sort of thing, where like you have like your main projects and that sort of thing, but like here's some like stuff I've been working on that doesn't like fit the bill for like the Seventh Heaven album, but I still want you guys to be able to see it because I'm sure you guys, some of you guys will like it, sort of thing, right? So it doesn't like change my opinion or anything much on the like Slayer's like quality overall, because as much as I think this is like a bit of a step down compared to the other stuff that I've heard from him, it's still like decent, and it reminds me of like a deluxe, right? Like, who cares if there's some tracks on the deluxe that aren't like perfectly curated for like their maximum fucking album experience? Like, I don't care. It reminds me of like Hurry Up Tomorrow, because that was like basically like the final like the weekend album. It's like, yeah, I'm okay with it being 30 tracks long because it's the send off. Same sort of thing, I guess, with like Fall Off, with like it being a double album sort of stuff. I can kind of get a similar vibe here. But yeah, it's enjoyable because I just like listening to Slayer stuff.
That's cool. The sun cannot do shit to me like Nezuko. He rapping with them swords, he not a slayer to me. They said I should go court and get them papers, you see, and get them papers. I just made it, y'all do it myself. Niggas pissy, they ego me, yeah. Start the leash and go get it.
I don't
Said you hoe a nigga shit. I remember you hoe a nigga, yeah. Better get you don't show a nigga shit. Hit that chop in my door, a nigga, yeah. I can't stop the flow on this bitch. Gotta throw some dough on me, yeah. I just wanna get more fucking rich. Yes, I'm trying to get more money, yeah. I can't cut me a whole type of bitch. I can't cut something so slutty, yeah. But I will fuck a whole type of bitch. And I will fuck a whole slutty, yeah. Let's go. Not gon' switch my swag for you pussies.
I'd say like it's decent, like a 6.
Not gon' switch my swag for you pussies. Not gon' switch my swag for you pussies. So much push, get your real.
It's like, I still like their attitude. Like, they're more comfortable being like brighter and all that sort of stuff, and I much rather that than like the aura farming sort of stuff that some of the other artists seem to do. It feels more like, I don't know, it feels more healthy, better for casual listening sort of stuff. It's nice beats. Oh, that's a cool guitar. Oh, the next track feels like it might hit for me. Looks interesting. I expected it to come in with more bassy, kind of like a Smash by Stunt and Die, on Stunt and Die 3, but it pulled back a bit, which is interesting.
You must lost your mind, you can't pass that. Blinded now, she caught me 3 times on the Snapchat. He beat the pencil good, now she wanna bring the cat back. He ain't stand a bud, not my friend, I'm not gon' back that. Yeah, I was sitting high, I cannot see shit. Yeah, this a hardest song, got your album key, bitch. When I twin take a walk, that boy got no defense. Probably not even back it up, y'all she know I leave it. Yeah, nice, bitch, I'm getting nice. Yeah, nice, bitch, I'm getting nice. Yeah, nice, bitch, I'm getting nice. Bitch, I'm getting popped. Why with my walk? Don't see you keeping up, blowing up. I feel like a nobody. You can't keep up. Don't see you keeping up, fuck, blowing up. I feel like a nobody. Fuck, you can't keep up. Run this whole day, run this whole day. Swing out my ties, I want nothing to do with that.
I think it's like this one, based on the same level, maybe a tiny bit higher than the first track for me.
Too much, he on the cop side. I can't talk my shit, I told the cops lies. She won't hop in it, hop in my ride.
I also feel like there's a difference between this track and like the other ones. Is the other ones feel like they're fusing like 4 different genres and 4 different like vocal takes at the same time, where like it's trying to basically have like an assortment amongst the chaos, where this one feels like it's like every song picks like 1 or 2 things that it wants to do, and it kind of just runs with the idea for that entire time. So it doesn't have the same level of like chaos and like ADHD sort of shit that like Slayer's music usually has. This one feels so, I think that's part of the reason why it feels a bit more low-key to me, because it feels like it's like 2 ideas coming in, not like a tapestry of like 4 or 5 ideas that are like perfectly interwoven together. So I think that's one of the reasons why it also feels a bit different to me. I've always appreciated the fact that every single project he does, like, it always transitions to the next track. It's like a nice little creative touch. It gives it a nice teaser. It makes me wonder why other artists don't do it as much.
Nah, they don't even know what's about to happen, bro. Turn that next shit on. Fuck you, mean.
It feels a little less punchy, like less drum based or something.
You don't touch this, my paper fill away, then go get paper. Type of day bar like a Laker, ricochet all of my favorites. I got tasty, a good flavor. Yeah, annoy all my neighbors. Yeah, get more cash than mayors. Getting more cash than slayers. Going through different phases. Yeah, gotta hold down chasing. I've been getting more dough daily basis. Playing my song back every day. Black mask gon' go undercover, don't got a bag song. Look for another. I put these bags on my jello, my brother. You hit those saxophones, they call.
I bet nice rap performance. Also, very interesting beat.
Everybody know I'm not subtle. My gon' catch anybody, don't need a huddle. That nigga Benny copy, we do not fuck with him. When up on board, just to ask him what's up with him. Chase for the beat, bitch, I'm moving like Bumblebee. Shorty racks, I'm not bitch, I don't fuck with me. Shoot my shot and I'm green like a couple threes. What it is right now is what'll be. Let's go. What I say, track hard. Fast as a bitch, it's not fast up. Cut off this bitch with a hacksaw. Get some pussy, these niggas just jack up. Think I'm pussy, I'm letting them back off. Walk outside and I fly on a dragon. I got different bullets in back so.
Oh, I like that. That feels very like Shay. I don't know if it stems from that, like Slayer, like listening to it, but like the deeper voice that you would hear on like the Empty Clip EP and stuff like that, like that sort of vocal technique is interesting because I don't know if one, I actually don't even know if Shay's the first one to do it, but like let's say he is the first one to do it. It's cool that Slayer is clearly like listening to other like the people around him and still getting like a lot of inspiration. It's one of the things I feel like that makes Shay and Slayer like the front runners when it comes to the underground scene, is the fact that they're not stagnant. Like they will listen to something and then switch it up. Like Shay's Say So Says, Kruger, I haven't listened to Kruger yet. It's requested, so it should be here at some point. But like Say So Says, into Rest and Bass, into Empty Clip, like those are so stylistically different, every single one of them. And I feel like that, and also Slayer is quite different in a lot of his stuff. Like a lot of this is a lot different compared to like the more melodic strands that he had in his previous work. And I think it just showcases like one of the reasons why they're able to stay at the top of such an ever-changing like scene, because underground stuff, it feels like if you don't drop for like 6 months, you're gone. The output that people have is so crazy, because like I remember when I first started the channel, right, 7 months ago, listening to like underground stuff, Pretty Fun was mentioned in every single comment section. I haven't heard Pretty Fun mentioned for like 4 months, but like when it comes to someone like Slayer or Jane Remover or Che, it's like they're mentioned all the time. I feel like also the fact that like Che releases more frequently is probably a benefit for that, but I think the stylistic change and like the fact that they're always trying to stay on top of like switching up their creative juices, they're trying to look around themselves all the time and stuff, is probably a massive reason why they're able to stay at the top so much.
Your face, get out on your face. Tackle too much and it's not in your place. When you a Steve, bitch, out of the skate. Pay up your fees, don't have a bad day. Before I leave, bitch, can I get paid? No limit squeeze, my aim at your face. Tell them to squeeze, my aim at your face. She was a taker, bread on me like a baker. Been a retaliator, war with
Oh, that's another like decent track.
You don't touch this, my paper, fill away, then go get paper. Type of day, bar like a Laker. Ricochet, all of my favorites. I got tasty, a good flavor.
I wish like the staticky element here, that sort of thing, I just wish I had more punch. Like having like a deeper sound. Because this comes across like has like a heavy aesthetic, but it doesn't have like that punch underneath it as much as other one. This is very pretty. I love anything melodic from him. Oh, this is cool.
Say next bar, help me go far. Say next bar, help me go far. Anxiety, it's taking charge. Anxiety, it's taking charge. Feel like everything dark. I can see in the dark. Feel like everything dark. I can see in the dark. I just wanted to sleep in case, so shut up. What's the difference screen compared to real life? Wonder why you leave me here doing lies. Wonder why you leave me here doing lies. I don't swear that I'm thinking too hard. I'm getting old, everything's hard. Might as well close my eyes cause I think everything dark. Might as well close my eyes cause I think everything dark. All day, I've been geeking on, all day, I've been geeking on. Hey, say, how's your weekend been? I don't know, I just been tweaking, I didn't really hate this side of my body. What's my life? Hey, when you call at night, I'm sleep, hey, when you call at night, I'm sleep, flashlights, living this life is that deep. I need someone to cater to all my needs, Anxiety, it's taking charge. Anxiety, it's taking charge. I feel like everything dark. I can see in the dark. I feel like everything dark. I can see in the dark. You can never write these beats just like me. But you able to love somebody like me.
I think this is a good track. I feel like this and Prom, like, yeah. I like this is cool. Like 2010 sort of EDM sort of vibes. From like at least the stuff I've heard. Every single time, like there's no artist where I look forward to the transitions more. Like it's crazy. Like every single time, it's like as soon as the transition happens, I'm excited. And usually that isn't the case because usually transitions are like just trying to fade into the next thing. It doesn't have the same level of like pizzazz and effort. I would be low-key shocked if slayr didn't make it like a very distinct part of his like work, to focus on how this transition will work. It kind of reminds me of something like Max Martin would say is like he really cared about the first like 4 seconds because he wanted it so like the first 3 notes you knew what song it was. That's why whenever you like hear a Max Martin track, like the first note of Blinding Lights, you know what song it is. And he talks about how he really focuses on that. And it feels like slayr might have like a similar sort of thing, but when it comes to transitions, it's like he wants like every transition to feel like that. Yeah. I feel like he's sounding a lot more similar to like the people around him, where I feel like slayr on this project like vocally and stuff like that, like there's still some slayr style vocals, but like there was that part where it kind of sounded a bit Che and stuff like that. But like when I'm listening, I don't know, when I'm listening to a bunch of the other underground artists, I can't point to them because I've listened to like 300 in the past 6 months, but it feels like the stuff that's happening more currently, slayr is more in that moment at the moment, where I feel like someone like Pretty Fun is an example of like, it feels like irrespective of what's going on around him, he will do his sound. And I guess like slayr for me had his own sound, like something across like Gaia 2, Half-Blood, Bloodlux, they all sound different, but they have that slayr aesthetic here. I feel like that it's kind of missing a bit on this project here. And it feels like the project is kind of like seeping into like the waves of the current times a bit more. So I feel like this project for me doesn't stand out as much as the other stuff because it doesn't feel like it has slayr's fingerprints on it as much, apart from like the like the transitions. Like if every single time we've had a transition, I'm getting excited because I'm like, oh, this is the Slayer is back, and then when we get to the track, it's like, oh, this sounds like a decent version of what's currently going on. Yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting experience.
Don't get mad, yeah, fuck on this bitch. I just fucked on this bitch, now he say he won't beat my ass. Driving some shit, feel like driving some shit. If I do it, you stop being mad. If I do it, you quit it. Run make my soul make it spin like a fidget. Let me know your condition, cause I'm also sick, I got blue in my vision. Throw your deuces up, forget the world. She just wanna back and even though I give the world. This is an emergency.
He has such a nice voice. I feel like they're not focusing on it as much, maybe. Like, he has a beautiful singing voice.
I take a liking to the ones that like me. Do you like me? Let me know. Let me know.
Like the guitar sort of sound stuff here, it's not crunchy as I thought it would be. But then it's not leaning into like the melody as much of the singing.
I just left from the back in an all black whip, rubber bands on my dash. Get to raise my voice too high, let me know so you don't get mad. Where'd you go with my love? I need it back from ya. Ain't need to go against ya, it was an accident. I'm falling back, I'm falling back. Oh yeah, knew this was gonna happen, caught that. Oh yeah, change up my fits, I'm going all black. Finger fuck chopper, finger fuck chopper, finger fuck chopper.
And it's like another decently good track. I think this is the lowest I have a Slayer project, but it's still like decent. It's just the thing that, like, I don't know, it doesn't have the same level of pizzazz to me. But it's an EP. It's not the proper project.
It's not a regular necklace. Why would I lie for? Checking shit right out the checklist. Where'd you go with my love? I need it back from ya.
Actually, no, this is pretty good. I like it. I like the singing and stuff. I'm very curious how not Avant Nova, it's Fabula Nova and Seventh Heaven will sound. Because this does feel like a bit more of an EP sort of thing, but like, which means that, like, despite the fact that this is maybe the lowest rated project I've heard from Slayer now, like, it doesn't really impact my opinion of him, because it's like, clearly he's working EP, mixtape, studio album. So I'm assuming that the mixtape's going to have the same level of pizzazz that a fucking Guy 2 or Half-Blood, Bloodlux sort of has. And then Seventh Heaven, like, if I'm being honest, this is not like a slight against Slayer's talent or anything like that. Like, Half-Blood and Bloodlux are just so good that I don't know how you will be able to, like, hit the mark of making your studio album even better than those. Because, granted, I said that I feel like I had a similar vibe, but there was just, like, less proof of it when it came to Matt Proxy, because I thought that the horseplay was really nice, but then Trojan Horse, I was like, holy shit, this is like fully realizing the stuff that, like, all of the potential that I expected, not expected, that I thought was possible but wasn't expecting, and I was like, wow, that's very surprising. So, and if anyone could do it, like, because I feel like Slayer, for me, has like the biggest expectations and anticipation for the studio album to be good, because Slayer has been like the best when it comes to the underground for me. So, but like, he's also the one, because he's proven that by him making amazing mixtapes, that like, if anyone could do it, it's probably Slayer. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed watching this video, Heaven 2 is coming soon, so subscribe. Haha. But yeah, I love you guys. Thank you so much. I personally want to just thank every Slayer fan in particular, because without you guys, I probably wouldn't be here, and this is basically my job now. So, my livelihood is literally thanks to you guys, and I fucking love doing this, so thank you so much for that. Sorry I'm a bit monotone, I just had no sleep last night. But yeah, thank you guys so much. I absolutely love you. Peace.